This legend is an activist, a trendsetter. He speaks the language of the common man, and he pushes society with a twist. Join me as we meet these legends. Now my time is He's one of the most controversially misunderstood humans on earth, to say the least. Yet, such a bundle of talent and intelligence. He's perceived by so many from different angles. Mystic, activist, loud, outspoken, rebellious, and a punk. The Nigerian music industry's reform will not be complete without the mention of his name. The almost one-man struggle to get the Nigerian music to international recognition and worth in the business is one that history will forever remember him for. A living legend with no dull moments. His story is likened to a warrior who sets for a course for both self-emancipation and to stand for the truth of belief and right conscience as mantra. A man of the masses and voice of the downtrodden of society.
My name na Charles Chukwuemeka Omemboji Oputa. Yes, the man them call the area father, the papa of the youth, the Oduribariba one of Africa. Yes, the spiritual warrior. Yes, I am the president of all frustrated Nigerians. Yes, so.
Our trip to the Nigerian capital of Abuja to meet the enigma of a personality was indeed historical and worth the records.
When I was born, I think in the early 50s, I can't really remember. I guess you got to ask my mom about that. Well, I was born in a city, the Garden City, it used to be called the Garden City of Pitakwa. Pitakwa is Port Harcourt, the city you now know as Port Harcourt, in Rivers State. Yeah. I did my primary school in Port Harcourt, and then we moved to, I don't know, we were always moving around. My father at the time was a successful lawyer that had worked with the Mobile company and stuff like that. And those were my formative years in Port Harcourt, you know. And all I can remember about those days was there was a lot of warmth in the family, there was a lot of activities. I used to think that every day was Christmas because there was always something happening in the house.
Can we talk about your primary school?
I went to a private primary school. It was strictly for the expatriates at the time.
The rich
and well, you know, Ajebota turned Ajekpako, you know, that kind of stuff. You know. So, and because I was too troublesome, my father decided to punish me by taking me away from that school to a public school, you know, where I got beaten up for my lunch because I used to carry that Ajebota away, you know, in the other school to come to the public school. I used to bring, you know, my lunch pack, and guys go collect them from me, then go beat me up till I started to learn how to use those guys to defend myself.
What about your secondary school?
Well, my first secondary school, in a Owerri after the war, okay? That's the one I remember most fondly, between 70 to 73, 74. You know, that was in a Owerri called Holy Ghost College. In school, my secondary school days in Owerri, I used to be a prankster, yeah? And while my mates were going to evening classes and stuff like that, I hardly read my books, you know, because I was so indisciplined. I wanted to explore the world. I was very adventurous. So I was forming many things for guys, and everybody was very scared of me. They thought I had this spiritual power. I was almost like a native doctor. I did collect guys' money like mad. Say they pray, or they invoke, or they give them talisman for their studies. You know, nobody.
Was it real or was it?
Of course, me, I know it wasn't real now, because which kind of power I get. But because of how I was putting out and all the stunts I was pulling, people thought I had, you know, I knew I was special.
Yeah.
I knew there was something special about me. Well, I didn't have no damn powers, but that was how I was putting out. And people were buying this shit. And that was when I knew that, well, perception is a very powerful tool.
Your style of dressing, was it inspired by your art, or I mean, where did this come from?
I was kind of arty without even knowing what it was, you know. When other people will wear like, you know, then within the rain that time, na bongo, we go sew your trousers, it could be like, say, they sweep the road, you know. Then me, I go sew my own, you go come tight me. It'll be, you know, people will be looking at me like, you know, what's wrong with this guy? And when they went back to the penciled trousers, you know, I wanted my own baggy like that. So I knew that the popular way wasn't really my way. I like to explore parts unknown and, you know. But I managed to pass my exams anyways. You know, I guess it's all in the DNA. What I didn't have at the time was the discipline to sit down and concentrate on my work. I didn't really like school till I traveled out. I went to America, and I saw how cheap and interesting, you know, education was. Nobody had to tell me to buckle down, because the teachers, the lecturers, they made it so simple, they made it so fun, you know. And that was really when I started to buckle down to like, okay, fine, get my degree and get out of here. I never really liked America. I guess for the racism I experienced at the time.
So in your secondary school, you started a band called the Freaks.
I had a little romance with music at the time. They used to, that was what kept me more out of school than in school, because I went to a boarding school, you know, and I was always absent from the boarding house, because that's why they followed this group that I put together in secondary school. It was called the Freaks. What a name, Freaks. So that was, I think, when the romance started with music, you know. At that time, music was, for musicians, for artists, it was like looked at, you know, you have the stereotype in that, okay, for lack of having no brains, don't know what else to do, you know, that music was for dropouts and things like that, you know. But I think I was one of the pioneer people, well, after Fela, you know, that, yeah, this can be trendy, this can be a profession, you know, and people in this profession, you know, need to be respected, you know, need to be, you know, they need to make their pay for making you happy. I mean, entertainment is big all over the world, you know. So I guess that, you know, when Charly Boy came out, you know, Charly Boy was constructed to shock timid, myopic, Mongo-Pakish, last year Nigerian out of their way of thinking. Because like my father used to tell me, especially when I started, you know, putting the brand Charly Boy together, said, this is not going to work. This is too futuristic. Everybody will think you're irresponsible. Why can't you go be a lawyer, be a doctor, do something? So I guess me getting into the arts was a way of punishing my father, who I thought had such an I used to think he was a bully, and he never really loved me, because I was the one most caned, most punished, most everything, you know. All my siblings couldn't do no wrong at the time. It was only me, and I wonder, not realizing how bad I was at the time.
Your dad was a Supreme Court justice, right?
He was first a lawyer, then Justice of the High Court, and then when he was promoted, he became a judge in the Supreme Court, you know, and yeah, he left his footprints on the sand of time. And that is why he was nicknamed the Lord Denning of the Supreme Court. He did his own activism with the judiciary, you know. He was as straight as a pencil, you know. Everybody spoke about him with, you know. And that was the reason why I really didn't want to live under anybody's shadow. I had to create my own brand because I was sick and tired of being called, and now this person picking, now this person picking, like I didn't have any identity. So, you know, when, of course, I had a good job waiting when I came back from America. After about 4 or 5 years, I got my master's, I came back, and my father says to me one evening, well, you know, you finished your youth corps, it's time to go start, well, since you did mass comm, we have a job for you, a mobile, you know, go Susu, they go to Susu person and meet them, and, you know, you're on your own. I said, but I don't want to work. And he was like, you don't want to work? What do you want to do? I mean, I wasn't thinking about it, but when I say I want to be in the arts, he say, arts, doing what? Taking pictures? Or doing gallivanting? Or what? I said, no, I want to be a musician. Oh, you could have seen my father's face. I can't remember, I can't forget that face. It was like, all the years I've been training this boy, this is how he wants to do me. He almost collapsed. And I think that was intentional because I didn't really have a plan to, you know, go into music. I mean, I didn't consider myself a musician. I was just fooling around at the time, you know. So that was when we now started having a lot of problems. And as God will have it, he was made a Supreme Court judge, so he was transferred to Lagos. And you know where I went? I went to the village.
Now my time is
It was in the village I started the Charly Boy brand. Yes, I used to have a little studio where, of course, people who want to do demo and all of that will come and drop some money for me. But after about 7 months, or thereabout, after I moved to the village, things became so tough for my sister. It was not me and poverty, just they talk one-on-one. Poverty, tie rapper, they face me, I face them. Those were the very dark days of my life when we started, because I didn't want to be hearing any more yarns from my old man. So I disowned them. Yeah.
You disowned
Oh, yeah. People thought it was the other way around, but I mean disowned them by just breaking away from their apron string, going to the village, starting to look for my own way, my own life. Okay? Those, like I said, those were very dark days for me. And guess what? I was with my present wife at the time, staying in the village, no light, no water. We used to go to the stream to fetch water. Yes, so. And because I had little or no money, I couldn't travel. Getting out of the village was a problem for me. You can imagine all the way from America down to the village. Now, so your brain will begin kick. Because who do you have around? Not young people. People who are in the village are people who are retired. So those become your company. Are you progressing? Are you retrogressing? I started to notice I even had a complex about myself. You know, the very few times, it was like Christmas, when I could put some money together, get on a luxurious bus, and go to Lagos, come to Lagos to see how I could go about my music business, you know. That's how come I met my angel, like I've always called her, of blessed memory, Tina Onwodiwe, the African Oyibo. It was she, after spending 7, 8 years in the village, almost rotting away, it was she who brought me out from that village to Lagos. And that's how I started to see the light. Otherwise, if not before that woman, I for die.
You talk a lot about your dad. What about your mom? How was she like?
My mom was a senior registered nurse, you know, and yeah, she went to work like other moms do, but she was more my protector from my bullish father, you know, and sometimes they will quarrel over me, and I will hear her saying things like, you know, my father is too hard on me. She should take it. He should take it easy. It's not all the time. You know, spare the rod, and you know those kind of talk. You know, so when I commit any crime, I'll just run to my mother for protection. So it worked out.
I actually thought that your fashion sense came from America. So where did you get your fashion sense from?
I guess my fashion sense didn't really form till I came back to Nigeria. And when I did come back, after about 5 years I spent in America, when I came back, I think the beginning of the Charly Boy brand, as I built that brand, in the beginning it was, I had this sissy look. I guess that's why a lot of people think I'm gay. Yeah? You know, so I had this sissy look. I always used to wear lipstick, you know, rouge, pancake, you know, and come and see forming. Then I didn't even have a car. So everywhere I went, and I sweat a whole lot, you know, so I was busy fussing all over my face. And when I met Tina, she was the one that was like, no, 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 you don't, because everybody was comparing me with Boy George, you know, but I had started before Boy George, you know, and but because he made the sissy look that popular, you know, so people thought I was, you know, fashioning, you know, the brand after Boy George.
We've got to live together. We've got to walk together. One love is all we need to make this world better. We've got to live.
So when you came to the Nigerian industry, the Nigerian music industry, what did you give back to them?
As per what I gave back, I remember as a PMAN president, that was about year 2003, yeah. I was a PMAN president. And then Nigerian artists, they were into the big money. We didn't make money, okay? But we fought for what is happening right now, for the big money. We fought for the respect, you know. There was an influx of foreign artists that would come into Nigeria at the detriment of our local artists. Then, of course, I was the PMAN president, and I warned all the corporate bodies, you cannot bring artists to Nigeria again at the detriment of our people. We must play on the same stage. It was segregation now. The first company that conformed to our rules and regulations at the time was Guinness. And that was the first time Wyclef came to Nigeria. That was, you know, so they came to us like, please, we don't want any problem from you. How do we do this? I said, fine. What we need to do, we're going to have a day that Nigerian musicians will come and display so the foreign art could see us. A day they will have that interaction. It was from that event that the first ever foreign recording deal was contracted between Wyclef Two-Face, Phase, and Sound Sultan, the first ever. That was when it started to pick up when, you know, I mean, as a PMAN president, you dare not play any foreign music. In the club, if I visit your club, I'm up in the air, in the plane, you dare not play any music that is not Nigerian music, not my watch.
So how did you manage fame and family?
Family values was very high on where I'm coming from, you know, so I've been married several times, Mark you, I think about 4 times, you know. The first time, of course, my mother thought I was being too rascally. I was busy getting a lot of babes pregnant, you know. I mean, the fact that I ended up with 9 kids, those are the ones I know. Some self-know, they register. So, you know, you know, and when I came to America, I married twice more. They all ended up in disaster till I met my wife that I came back with, Diane. And we've been together for, almost 40 years now. So I have 9 children. I have 16, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 10, not 12, 16 grandchildren.
Wow.
Yes, wow. I said, you know, I spoil from Bele.
When I wake up in the morning, now you I see. Laying in my bed, now you lay there. For better, for worse, now you I know. Till the end of time. Orilo Boru, na head to kill neck. Orilo Boru, na head to kill neck. Orilo Boru. When I tell you I do, true at all. Plenty feet they for see, you are kind. Many years don't pass, still they here. Till the end of time.
So who does your designs? Because you have some mad designs. Do you
I
make
don't
your
know
own
how mad
designs?
they are.
Wicked
They are,
designs.
Okay. Sometimes my wife, sometimes I just sketch something and give it to a tailor to put together. But I think these days I'm beginning to see myself as more Afrocentric than I ever was in the past, you know. I talked about the punk thing, the gothic stuff, and I've been through all of that.
What inspired the gothicness? Because everything, when people see you, they get scared. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's the whole idea, you know.
So
Make
what
them they
inspired
fear
it?
me. I don't like many people they fear me small now. How about- Because if they know me finish, now see finish with that.
Yes.
And see finish no good, you know. Just keep you suspended, you know. Think whatever you want to think, you know. I will even help you to facilitate that one shot. I still believe in Nigeria. I still believe in young people. And I've kept my youthfulness, you know, going because of young people that I hang around with. My friends are very, very young people between the ages of 20 to 40. I'm 66, I think, or 67. I'm not too sure, you know. But yes, I've been privileged to meet exceptional Nigerian young people who I believe in so much, you know. Though there are a lot of them out there where their mumu never do, you know. So they better wake up, you know. But all the same, I'm very hopeful that this exceptional Nigerian youth and the people I'm always talking to,
Yes.
you know, to make sure that they come together, to make sure that there's a paradigm shift. Enough of all these old people messing things up for us, messing up, mortgaging our future and messing up our future. So yeah, I like young people who stand out, who are very focused, who are hardworking, who are tenacious, and who knows that there are no shortcuts to life. For whatever you want, you must work for it. Yeah.
Now my time is yours.